All right. Good morning, gang. Nate Bear here, lead technical tactician for Monument Traders Alliance and Trade of the Day. And I'm just looking at these indexes this week and thinking, you know what, we got to go over these. And then I've got a pretty sweet looking trade set up that I want to go over with you guys as well. So obviously, the story of the week has been the comments over Greenland. We started the week down and we went further, and then yesterday we kind of had this nice gap and a rally, and then we puked in the middle of the day, and then we had the president come out and say, hey, you know what, we're good, no tariffs on these European nations, and we've got a framework in place. And let me show you the 5-minute chart. I mean, this thing was, yeah, here we go. This is the intraday, right? So we get our little gap up. We have a really nice rally. Then we give it all up. It looks like we're going to go close this gap, right? We're sort of flagging out here, ready to go make that gap close. And instead, we get comments from the president, and the market rallies huge into the close. And we're actually up pre-market this morning. So it's funny, if you had not been, awake Monday and Tuesday, and you're waking up this morning and you're thinking, all right, let me see where the indexes are. Oh, it looks good. SPY's down 3 from last week's close. Not a big deal. You're right. Nothing to see here. Let's see. The Qs were okay. So the Qs are up here. $1 from last week's close. Nothing to see here. Nothing happening, right? So it's just kind of funny how quickly things can change when you are in a news-driven market. And I think that's the big take here is, in Daily Profits Live, we were talking about, look, guys, we actually bought some stuff down here in anticipation of this rhetoric being clamped down and walking back, and so we got paid yesterday, which was great. But for this morning, I want to show you a trade setup, one of my favorite charts out there right now, and it's actually this one right here in APLD. Now, this is a chart that is overall in a big cup and handle. And if we sort of zoom in on this part of the chart, right, let me look at the 130-minute chart. We've got a situation where we've got our trend, right? We've got our stacked EMAs. Here's the 8, here's the 21, and the 55 is down here. So we've got our stacked EMAs, we've got our trend, we've got our big, beautiful bull flag. So we've got our pattern, and then we've got our squeeze, red dots down here with a momentum shift, right? So we've got our TPS setup. And in addition to this, just in case you're curious, if we go to FinViz and check out APLD, you can see right down here, APLD has 32% short flip, right? So we've got a name that's in a great TPS setup near the highs, just beat earnings, and they have high short flow. This is a recipe for new highs. So my thoughts here are very simple. As you can see, I've got this chart pretty well marked up, but there are some levels in here that I like, between 34 and 36, call it, for entry. And then the target is actually going to be new highs, and then a move up. I think this is actually going to go higher than what I'm about to show you. But the sort of like new high target over this level would be up into 41. However, if you zoom out and look at this pattern as a whole, the 1272 extender is up here at 46. I actually think this can get all the way up to 50 with the high short float once it sort of gets going. So, you can play this a number of different ways. The way that I'm going to sort of suggest to play it is something that I would consider a little bit more conservative. And the reason that it's more conservative is because I'm going to suggest going out in time. I'm going to suggest simply going out further in time. So I'm going to say go all the way out to February here, 29 days out. And now you can buy the $35 calls at the money. I think that makes probably the most sense. You could do the $40 calls, which are slightly out of the money. And that's the one I'm actually going to, probably buy myself. But I am going to suggest these $35 calls. They're not terribly expensive. They're $4 options. Give yourself a month of time, and then looking for that move up over, wrong one again. Up and over these highs, and then an extension move up here into about 46. Again, scale out at 41.25, 41.45, and then ultimately 1272, and then up into this $50 psychological level makes sense to me. All right, so that's what I've got for this week. I hope it helps. I'll get the chart marked up and included in the update, and I will talk to you guys soon. Have a good one. Later.